have you kind of got to where you are?
Yeah, like I was playing for a Sunday team, like as a kid, like from like 11 to like 16. In the middle of that, like I had a short spell at Blues for about 9 months or so, and the rest of it's just been pretty much bouncing from like non-league club to non-league club. Had a spell at Kiddie when I was like about 17, and yeah, it's just been trying to go pro and bouncing around non-league, trying to find the best route to do it.
How did you sort of take Birmingham letting you go?
With Birmingham, like they didn't like let me go. Like I was there for like 9 months training, like played a couple of games, but at the time I was a centre back and I was the smallest kid you could ever have seen. Like I was about, I don't know, 5 foot nothing, and obviously like at the time like Blues had like quite a couple of big centre backs, so they said ability wise, like yeah, you're like we like you, but at the minute you're a bit small. So but they seen my dad and he's like 6'4", so they says we can see you've got height in your genes, so we're gonna wait for you to grow and see how that goes. So after being there for like 9 months or so, I'm thinking, well, I'm not growing. I don't know if I ever am gonna grow. So I don't know. I thought like, and at that time I already knew I wanted to change position and play as a forward. So I thought my best bet would be going back to Sunday League again and trying to rebuild it basically.
So you kind of started as a centre forward, if you like, at Sunday League level, and you've just worked your way up. And
yeah, effectively. Like to be fair, like it was when I went back to Sunday League, I played a couple games in a midfield role, but because I was really quick and like knew how to like play at the back, my manager like at the time wanted me to play there. So it was pretty much just like school where I'd play up front and like just with my friends. It wasn't till I went to Kiddie where I had my first season like as a forward and started learning like what it's like to play at proper like sort of level, like other than school. So yeah, that was the start of my forward career.
Do you see yourself as quite a sort of a late developer then?
Yeah, because like I didn't have I'm not massive now to be fair, but I didn't have some sort of a growth spurt until I was about 18, and then at that time as well, that was while I was still starting to learn the game, whereas there was other players who were already like made in their position at that point, like they'd been playing there for 5 or 6 years or so. So to be like 17, 18 and just starting a new position when you should really be like, you thinking like at this point like he's getting late, like I should already have been in a club for like, because my younger brother, he was at Blues from like the age of 11, so I'm comparing myself to that. I'm thinking, oh, I could be in trouble there.
When you started sort of hitting the back of the net for Redditch pretty regularly, how confident were you that might be the platform to get you further up the pyramids, at least into conference or maybe the Football League?
Yeah, like to be fair, when I started scoring for Redditch, like before I started scoring for Redditch, I played like half a season there, like after like Christmas, and I couldn't score. Like I scored a couple of goals, like I scored literally a couple, like 2, and but there was like, because I was playing well, like there was a lot of attention around me because nobody had seen me before. I just like appeared, so like there was like a lot of conference clubs and places interested, and because like I'd not experienced any interest or anything before because I was just playing at like low levels, like it just went straight to like my head and I thought, yeah, I've made it. I thought end of the season, like this is it, I'm going conference. And then I sort of fizzled out a bit, like probably due to inexperience of playing like consistent games, and then that like messed my head up a bit. Like I was thinking, oh, I thought I made it, but I've ended up at the same position. So then like I started playing for Redditch again the following season, but like for the first season like I was on the bench because I was playing as a winger and I wasn't used to it. I wasn't used to the defensive side, like tracking back, and I just wanted to go and score goals. So it took me a few months to adjust to that. So while I was trying to adjust, I was getting my fitness up, doing like running like outside of football and stuff. And then afterwards, when I had the defensive side like down, I started scoring occasional few goals, and then like my confidence went up. I started to score, got fitter and fitter, and then at that point I'd learned from the first year. So when like clubs come in and started showing interest, I paid it no mind. And so I had a season pretty much of just attention and scoring goals, but just ignoring it. So then like I was thinking, until anything concrete comes, like it doesn't exist. And that was pretty much my mindset in terms of thinking about getting a move. I wanted it bad, but I didn't want to like put my hopes on it, and then if it doesn't happen, like I'll be gutted.
And I mean, how much did you know about Swindon before the kind of interest came about?
Not a lot, to be fair, because if I'm honest, I've not really like watched a lot of like league football, like just your match of the days and like yeah. So like when I heard about them, obviously like I did a little bit of looking up and seeing like the statistics like for games and stuff, like possession sometimes it would be like 60-40 and like shots like they'll dominate, and I heard they had a young side, and I thought like yeah, that's something that could suit me, because obviously I'm not the biggest guy, so I don't really want to play that football where we'll sort of just send it up and then I've got to try and bring it down. I ideally want to play football, keep it on the floor.
How's the transition been to full-time training?
Not as difficult as I thought, to be fair. Like at a different club it might have been difficult depending on your surroundings and how the players were, but the players and management have been so good with me, like really patient, like they all like understand that it is a difficult thing coming from non-league, and possibly because they've had a few other players come from non-league, like they've seen what it's like and they know how like you need to be helped basically. So like yeah, they've always all the players, like managers, they've always like helped me as much as possible, and that's been a massive help. And right now I'm pretty comfortable, like I've settled in quite well. Yeah, just getting used to being a pro now.
Have you had a chat with Ben Gladwin about his experience of trying to adapt from non-league football?
Yeah, like he said initially, like you just gotta keep going, like obviously like you're coming from non-league, it is a massive step up, like in terms of like the pace and just everything, to be fair, like training every day. But he said like just keep at it, just keep playing every day and just wait for your chance to come, and when it does, just try and take it.
Is there a sort of lifestyle thing as well? Have you got a lot more free time than you used to?
Well, training every day, like it's definitely like you can't go out on an evening or anything, so it's a lot more settled. But beforehand, like I'd could pretty much do what I wanted before I went pro. So like I enjoyed my free time then, and because I thought at some point I'm gonna go pro, like I was confident in that. So I thought I'll enjoy my free time now, and then when it gets to like the crunch time, I'll have had it on my system, and now I'm perfectly happy just sitting in my house and watching Netflix and just training. So like yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with like the footballing lifestyle at the minute.
And how pleasing is it to already have had a couple of tastes of first team football, got on and been involved in a couple of important games, and a couple of big grounds as well? Yeah,
that was I didn't expect it to happen so fast, like because obviously like in the stages while I was at Redditch and people were talking, like everyone's telling you like different things, and obviously like I know it is a massive step from like Southern Prem to League One. So I was thinking, mate, the first 6 months I was pretty much just seeing as I'm gonna just be training, maybe playing like reserves and stuff, and gradually like easing my way into professional football. So to have signed and then a couple of days later be making my debut live on Sky at Coventry, like it was a bit surreal, to be fair. Like there's a point where I was sitting on the bench and just looking around the stadium at all the fans and thinking, like, how did I get here? But yeah, like it's like when I actually got on, I thought I've done it now. Like I've got here. Like it's gonna be a lot of hard work from this point, like maybe even more like than all the previous up to now. But at least I can say like I have actually like did what I set out to do.
What do you see as your main sort of strengths? What are the best parts of your game, do you think?
Well, I'm pretty quick, good feet. I know where the goal is, like I can finish, and yeah, like in terms of what I can add to Swindon, I'd probably say just an injection of pace, and hopefully a bit of flair too.
Does it perhaps sort of suit you then, maybe sort of coming off the bench to start with, when when perhaps other players are tired, and so it might suit you to sort of start that way?
Well, I think initially, like it will suit any player like who's coming from like an unproven team to just be coming off the bench, just so you can watch how the other strikers move and stuff, and just get a feel of how you want it to play, and like see how the pros do it. But yeah, like initially, like I think it will be ideal coming off the bench. But yeah, at some point, hopefully, I'll be pushing for a start.
And in terms of sort of learning the position, if you like, where do you feel are there already things you've picked up from the other strikers or the coaching staff have taught you that are new to you, even sort of having been in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, because they have a certain way that they want to play at Swindon, and I am quite used to getting the ball and trying to make things happen myself and do it all, which isn't really ideal when you're going to go and play against like better defenders. So I have just learnt to like not overcomplicate things. Sometimes just play it simple, play a 1-2, use your players, and then when the opportunity presents itself, then try and show what you can do.
How is it coming into a team that's sort of competing at the top, and the pressure, I guess, that goes with that?
Yeah, it is quite difficult, more mentally than physically, because you are thinking like, do they really need me? Like they're doing well as it is, they're first, or they're like going for promotion, like, and they've got a lot of strikers, they're all scoring goals, and I'm thinking like, hopefully I can try and like fit in and contribute to the team, as opposed to just I don't know, sort of sitting and watching.
And just in terms of sort of kind of getting on with the rest of the squad as well, do you share kind of similar sort of musical tastes or things like that? Are you kind of getting to know them as people and friends as well as players?
Yeah, definitely. Like going to Tenerife helped massively in terms of bonding for me. Like obviously, like just in that sort of sunny kind of vibe, even though it was like hard work and it was all about the training, it was a good bonding. Like obviously, like we were living together in like the hotel or whatever, and so like it was just hours basically of just getting to know them, and yeah, like but because we are all like young players, like we're gonna bond naturally more, as opposed to maybe, I don't know, if the age gap was a lot larger.
Well, I'll speak to you and good luck during your time here.